Everything is based on money, particularly in the city of Chicago.
Page 44.
Nothing gets accomplished unless you got money.
Include 4 amendments, 21 ordinances.
We've gone through so many financial crises. At every level of government, whatever we were doing before doesn't work. At least it's not working anymore.
This is a terrible, terrible budget for children.
We are the taxpayers. The money belongs to us.
We have never been asked what's critical for us as a neighborhood. Let's get direct input on what it is that we need.
It's time to change the way we interact as government and people.
It's supposed to be a democracy, so let's act like one.
We want to be able to make our own decisions, good or bad.
Right, that's why this is an
Because it's our money.
I think the importance of this is to start that process. There are 20 things for everybody to vote on. They're going to decide, and not just us.
We also need to be moral enough to say not just what's good about it, but how much it costs and what could go wrong. If everybody does that, it'll be a valid
like
decision.
they said. I mean, well, that's the thing is the list will stop when the money runs out.
Exactly. When we're out of money, that's the end of the voting, and those projects, will be part of next year's discussion.
Matt, can I make a suggestion? Can we move to our list?
Yeah, please. Let's do that.
I was dealing with some neighborhood issues, so I was kind of organizing for my building a little bit, and I was walking down the street one day and saw a flyer that said, "Help the aldermen spend $1 million." So I grabbed one of my neighbors and we went to what turned out to be one of the neighborhood assemblies for the first year of participatory budgeting.
2 parts, participatory budget. Participatory means all residents in an area get to participate and make binding decisions that count on part of a budget. We're going to collectively come up with projects that we want. There will be a final open voting day to all residents in the ward where we will actually come together and decide which of those projects are the ones that we want. And then we'll have a list of projects which will be turned over to Alderman's office, which will turn it over to the city, and then those will get implemented a little bit later on.
Rogers Park in Chicago's 49th Ward is one of the city's most diverse and racially integrated neighborhoods. The long history of citizen involvement and activism here make it an ideal testing ground for participatory budgeting.
All over Europe, Latin America, Asia, Africa, participatory budgeting is fairly common. I think it was a matter of time before a US politician found out about it and actually had the power to try it.
Rightly or wrongly, the mayor pretty much calls the shots on a citywide basis, and the aldermen call the shots locally. I had this discretionary money that I get to spend every year on infrastructure, the bricks and mortar of government. It was over $1 million. I have always listened to community requests. I've made my own determinations of how the money's been spent. In essence, I've been acting sort of like a benign dictator, if you will. What participatory budgeting does, rather than me be the ultimate decider, the people themselves are.
At the start of the process, residents came together to brainstorm and crowdsource ideas for neighborhood improvements.
When the water starts draining to the sewers and everything gets blocked and the whole street is flooded.
That's a sewer problem.
Yeah, why don't we say sewer flow on Greenleaf Ridge to Clark?
I was thinking that on Clark Street, maybe we could get like a stoplight by the library.
Are there any other kind of like amenities for cyclists? Like bike racks or bike lanes?
Volunteers formed working groups focused on topics such as transportation, safety, and the arts. They vetted ideas to see if they were feasible, then researched and developed detailed proposals.
I'm looking at these little reflective yellow bumps, that they use for median dividers.
Why can't we just have curb, bike lane, curb, and then the cars park here?
Yeah, I think Damon actually
goes out with me.
Neighbors gave feedback on the proposals at a community expo set up like a science fair. A few weeks later, they came back to cast their votes.
Come on in, come on in. Have you seen our sample ballots? No. Okay, so take the sample ballot.
I never could have imagined they would look like this. People were coming out to vote early. People were here before 9 o'clock.